We are in the Pembina Valley, and right now I'm joined by Harry Siemens, well-known farm journalist in this area. It's good to see you.
It's good to be here, and great to also meet in person, even though we've talked many times.
On the radio, we sure have. So what were your thoughts? Let's talk right off the bat about this disruption for rail service, the lockout that took effect early Thursday. What went through your mind?
My mind, number one, is it's the first time ever that both railroads were actually stopped. And that's that absolutely was a devastating thought. I talked to many farmers, and they told me that, hey, we're harvesting, we've pre-sold some of our grain, what we're going to do. And then when I started to talk to elevators people and Wade out of the Western Grain Elevator Association, and he told me, he says, you know what, this is becoming really sad for the simple reason the reputation of Canada, if we're going to have any kind of a longer strike, is going to be devastating because we export 70 to 75% of all our grain. And so those trains need to move.
Right. And it couldn't come at a worse time, as farmers are involved in their busiest time of the year, getting the crop off. I've asked you this a million times every time it's harvest time. How does this year's harvest look?
The harvest looks varied. I've seen reports of the spring or the fall and winter rye, anywhere from 40 to 100 bushels an acre, but it's all over the place. In fact, you'll hear from a couple of farmers sometime where they'll tell you that we've got soybeans and corn that are still developing. And frost, happens sometime in September. So all of those things are taken into consideration. But right now, across Manitoba, I believe we've got according to Manitoba Agriculture, we've got an average crop that's coming off.
There was a big setback because of the wet spring, right?
Oh, it was a big setback. We've had ups and downs, and then we had the big rain on the July 1st long weekend, which really replenished the subsoil moisture wherever you went. Not totally across the province, but that was a real help. That started to really develop. But then we had a hot spell, which when the crops are setting seed and pods and flowers and all that, wasn't that helpful. But at the same time, I believe we're going to have an average crop.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've talked to you before, and you're saying we're having a bumper crop. This year we almost have to take a break. This year it looks average.
Yes.
Not below average, not above average, average.
Yeah, and that average, of course, we have some that's above average, some that's below average. There are some places we were so wet in that we actually had crops that drowned out. And so there was nothing. In fact, there's a farmer up at Arburg. He said, I'm trying to get on to seed my fall rye for next year, but there's water in the field, and there's a crop insurance deadline. They have to get that in by September the 15th.
Thank you for this, Harry.
You're welcome.